good afternoon, good evening, good whenever it is. It's morning for me, and this is Dylan. Welcome to another Wednesday. A couple minutes late, I do apologize. That is because we had, couple minutes late because just couldn't get everything cooperating on the web today. You know, I was on the computer earlier, and Murphy's Law, when I sat down back to it, things had rebooted themselves. So, you know, tech loves me. That's okay. Little kitties, I don't even know why you're over there. I don't know who pushed you. How are you doing this morning? Now, Complete Noah, I do remember you had said that you were going by a different name. What would you prefer to be called? Because please do let me know. It makes it a little easier. Hello, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. Good to see you.
Hello there.
Good to see you. You were there. I will leave it at that. Not exactly the world's best start to the day, but hey, let's let it get better from here. So first thing I'm starting with, just a little bit of cleanup, because as you can see, the chest down here is full. So one of the things I thought I would do is actually just put down a I would just put down that doesn't help. What I'm looking for is a crafting station so that I can just switch off some of this stuff to be... Oh, I've got space. To be blocks. But I didn't leave myself enough space. Okay, well, that's that. Let's get back up here and actually organize. I just logged out last night when I was done. I didn't actually, like, put everything away. Noah or Tranquil, whatever works for you. Noah might be easier for me to remember because it's in your current name, but if you prefer Tranquil, I can always switch to that. So let's see, let me write this down, because I actually do have a list of things where I've got so-and-so goes by this other name. Complete Noah equals Noah or Tranquil. There. See? Messy, but I wrote it down. All right. There we go. What was I doing? What was I doing? I think one of these days I should actually spend time and do some organization. That would be sensible, you know? I'm saying I'm going to hire somebody else to do it, and I never do. So I should probably just actually bother to do it myself. That would be, you know, useful as well. Okay, cobble, let's just go up there for now. Those don't belong here, they belong somewhere else. That's fine, we'll put them there. I'll lose them, that's okay. Those, I know where they go. Yeah, I have to get these two repaired. So what I was doing last night was watching DC while he was on this server and filling shulker boxes with stone. So the idea is that I could actually use those for filler. You'll see in just a second what I was using it as filler for. Junk. I'll leave those two junk boxes because I'm going to need them. 3 and 4. These are... That's full, so 5. Better than I thought, so let's go with that. And then I needed a crafting table. Where did I put those? I have excess crafting tables kicking around a lot. So there's like 3 in the toolbox, and then there was 7 there, as you could see. So I just keep making them, picking them up, and then get back to where I was and didn't have one left there. So let's get... Oop, wrong door. Let's get through here. I used to have a ladder system that just went over the edge down here. But as you can see, I kind of blocked myself out, so I had to change it up. And... where do I want to hide this one? I'm going to use it more often. Whoa. That was not what I wanted. But it might do, actually. Nope, I don't want it to be spawnable is really what the key is here. Let's put it under something useful. How about there? That'll work. Oops. Whoopsie daisy. There we go. No, not quite. There we go. Now I can get myself out of here. Out of the hole. That one, and I want the slab. There. Okay. Let's get these out. What I'm thinking about doing is keeping all of this side in its original bamboo form, but then all of this side, aside from what's already been stored there apparently, will be switched into being just blocks, because then I can do stuff with the bamboo blocks. And once you've got a bamboo block, you can't reverse that. Would be nice, but that's not the way the world works. So we're just putting everything away. Bit of a slow process. We'll get there. It would probably be more effective if I'd actually emptied my inventory first, but I figure at least half of it will be enough. And I'm hoping that I can keep the whatchamacallums at bay. Oh, the road from Frankwell. Whoops. Let's change that up. Mistakes. Flattening out again. It's a... Well, I guess I don't really need to fix the go live. Didn't actually work anyways. There, so the title should change. Apparently I had some bamboo sitting in the main chest, or sorry, in the hoppers waiting to be converted, so I guess it'll take a minute for that to filter its way through. It is after night, and I'm hoping to avoid the phantoms is what I was trying to get at. There we go. I have this really weird feeling that I'm forgetting something, but that's okay. Whatever it is, I'll figure it out. You ever one of those days, sometimes you get up on the wrong side of the bed, and it's not really the wrong side of the bed, it just feels like it? That one. I got up on the right side of the bed today, but kids don't survive well when they don't get to bed on time, and today that bit me back a little bit, just because my kids were cranky at me, which did not make for a great start to the day, because if they're cranky, I get cranky. No, I don't think so. The kids did it last night, so no worries. No worries. It is what it is. But as Fantastic Shock Fox is aware, I don't recover very well from that, so just getting a little bit to get my feet back under me. Oh, for God's sake. Fine. Stay that way. Okay, so these... I like starting from the bottom left corner, so I'm just going to start with that. And then if we end up with anything turned into something other than the basic blocks, I'll probably have a box up top. I did, actually. Thank you very much for redirecting. I appreciate that a lot. I had a good time in Ireland. Actually, it's funny because there's a lot of reasons why we could never move there. Financial costs are one of them, simply because it's not about how much we make or anything like that. It's that the world is different over there in the way things are done, and so we'd have a lot of challenges getting costs moved, I guess, you know, jobs and all that kind of jazz. But it doesn't mean that that terrain-wise and just generic culture in terms of how people treat each other, that I would love to live in Ireland. Would totally love to live in Ireland. We had yet to meet, at least as far as I was aware, yet to meet anybody who was cranky. You didn't see a whole lot of road rage. There wasn't a bunch of that, for the most part. People honky at each other to be friendly. Like, I'm not trying to be silly here, but quite literally, there are different types of honks that people use with their vehicles when they're being friendly versus when they're doing other activities. Yeah. So, battle. So some people, honk the car, and the assumption, generally, if it's a short, quick one, was not... In North America, the assumption would be you did something wrong. In Ireland, the assumption is, oh, they saw somebody on the street they were saying hello to. So it's one of those kinds of places. And we don't see those a whole lot. This was a mistake I made last night. So anyway. So you see a bunch of people being nicer to each other on the street than you ever see in North America. Nope, that's not a bug. That's not a bug. So you get channel points boosted for watching the stream, but then for being a returning viewer, I think it's on the first time you return after your account is chatted, that there's a bonus of, I think it's 250 points plus the 50 that you would get from when you click the interactive thing. It says you're really here as opposed to a deep lurk. So yeah, there's bonuses like that Twitch just gives out. But on the points front, yeah, so on the points front, I haven't figured out how to do a whole lot of poll-related stuff or prediction-related stuff that hasn't been done before. Let's see. Am I getting closer to finishing that box? It's probably not worth it. We'll be here for a few minutes. Let's swap that one out. We'll say it's good enough for now. There we go. What's this? That's an empty one? Let's put that one away. Is there any lava that needs picking up? No, we're good. I can ditch those. Put that shulker box in. Put all of these things away. Then I can show you guys what I was up to. And these will be empty. Do I need to go do repairs? Probably not at the moment. We'll do that a little bit later. Anyway, so what I was doing with all of this, I'll get back to the point story in a second. I know I'm derailing. What I was doing with all this, I'm going to show you in the map rather than simply flying over. Because I should probably sleep away the day. But, let's sleep away first, then we can get some light in here. And this is... I didn't need this dirt, and I don't know why I had it. Thank you, James! That's awesome! I don't know why I had it. Dirt is good! And I should probably remember to return his boxes afterwards, too. Perfect. Dirt will be very, very helpful. So I have two spaces in here. One. Let's put this one away. Derail, derail, derail. That works. And I never seem to have a sign when I need it, so let's put one in there. Alright. Wow, I think I just got a little bit of lag. Thank you very much for being my biggest fan. I appreciate that a lot. So, okay. Where were we? Points. So I hadn't figured out a whole lot of things that it's worth predicting on that sort of haven't been done to death. We do have the prediction for eggs, should one so desire. But otherwise, I'm looking at trying to figure out a secondary system. Like, there is a secondary system I know how to put in my bot, but I need to figure out the list of what it can do and what features. So we're going to take a boo over at what I've been up to and what I need all that dirt for. So I'm actually flattening out. the space. You see, here's a lot of, that's what the dirt was for. So I'm actually taking this up to approximately 120, which we are currently now sitting at 117, so it's not that bad. And I'm going to bring down some of the other layers as far as I can, more or less, using my standard tier format on the walls. So as in, the walls are really high, but I'm going to try and slope them downwards to match. Unfortunately, there isn't, Noah. What actually this one is, you've probably seen that this is Dadcraft73's server for members who support him on Patreon. So yeah, I don't play on any free servers, I'm afraid. The only other world that I play right now is actually a solo world, where I'm mucking around with a bit of Bedrock. That's about where we're at, see. 17, 18... Oops. So unfortunately, I don't play on any free servers. There are some out there, and there are definitely some for people who you say, oh yeah, just subscribe to me on, say, YouTube, for example, that type of thing. And there are free servers out there for people like that, but it's not one that I've played on. Though I will say, like, there are people out there I trust that have servers like that, just not ones that I've played on. One of the side effects of doing it this way with the Patreon people that we have is that you're generally, I should say, more aware of the community you've got to work with. So you sort of know who they are, you know a little bit more about them. But the other part of it is it makes it easier to have rules in the community that help prevent some of the negativity that you can see in other or free platforms where people come in and have their way with the server, I guess is probably a better way of putting it. So we've given quick updates. Those that hadn't seen it, when I left for my vacation, we were down here at the south end of this gray blob, and I built the wall to approximately where you see this little red blob up top, so the dark one. And then yesterday's work was we did the angle up top and the connection to the castle. Very straight. I might try to round off the corner, but we'll see. It's not critical. And then we spent time chopping trees out and pathing our way back, and I know the road's a little wider than necessary. Frankwell, which the stream had been named after, actually became Fakewell, because it's fake Frankwell. And I don't even know if the place still exists in England or not, but the main base is inspired by Shrewsbury, England. And then some of the weird little red dots you're seeing is where we're going to end up with more pathing, but I wanted to get out some of the flattening first so that we can actually have places to build. The mess of trees you see in the main section of the base is just simply because I needed trees and needed a space to chop them. I just put them up there. It's going to move, it's going to change. And what else do we have left to do? So there's a gate to be built on the weekend. We're going to build another gate on this side on the weekend. And if we need more stuff to do in 2 hours, which I kind of doubt, but then we're going to move on to working on an abbot's lodgings for the monastery on this side. We'll probably end up on top of the snow, but we'll see how that works out. Project after that, throughout the other project, we're going to have, once I can get a little bit of space flattened, hopefully by this weekend, we're going to start having people being able to redeem houses for points. And we'll just build them a little house in the town, because we're going to need an awful lot of houses. So we can actually have people just redeeming houses for points. A good way to burn off a few points if you've got them, you know? Oops. So we'll start that, and that'll be in and amongst the other projects, just as a bit of a change of pace. That's the other reason I needed the pathing laid out, so I could start putting the housing in. So there's a lot of when this happens. After we get all those projects done, at some point, there will be a complete and utter rebuild of the castle. Yes, I know I built it 12 times or something. It's not that bad, but at least 5 or 6. And this time we're going to change it up to a much taller, more Norman-style castle. I saw some pretty good building elements out of some castle walls and such while I was in Ireland. And think that it's time to move on from the Mott and Bailey style that we've got there. Basically, the Mott and Bailey, while it might be time accurate, it was not represented as such in the books. They moved to a Norman style castle fairly quickly in the way they were describing things in the books. So I figured, okay, well, I'll start with a basic one, but I didn't do it correctly anyways because it should have been all entirely wood, which is very anachronous with stone town walls. But since we were definitely dealing with town walls, then we need ourselves a stone castle to go with it. And there are definitely names referenced in the stories that are Norman in nature, so it makes more sense to show off that Norman influence by having some more of the buildings be the stone build style. We were talking a period that was set in the mid 1100s. For crying out loud, move! You're being such a donkey. No, it's not just avoiding cusses. Okay, did I get that strip done? Close enough. Alright. So it's becoming a bit of a can of worms to open this part. And anyways, but that's where the castle's going to head. So there will be a castle change up, but that's after the other projects, partly because we need some town life, as in a reason. Partly because we need to actually move on, and we have a castle. It does what it needs to do. So if I don't ever get around to upgrading the castle, it is what it is. Yay! Hello, Poodle Pirate. Great way to drop in. I actually have your private sound, Poodle, just about ready to go. What I wanted to do with it is I wanted to put a clip of video in with it, but I'm having trouble getting it to zoom in on the part of the video visual that I wanted. So that's really all that's stalling me. If I get too frustrated with it, we may get a temporary version that has just a full screen picture of what was going on in the link you sent, or the first link you sent. But we'll see, because I'm still trying to get it cropped down to the part that I want. It's coming. It's coming. Yes, well, you had sent me a link to a video that had a number of songs in it and pointed out which part of that soundtrack you liked best. And I thought it might be kind of fun to include a little clip of the video the scene that accompanied that sound. And so I just wanted to try and trim it down to something smaller, but when I straight out shrank the video, it didn't look very good, so I was looking to try and crop it into the pirate ship in the picture. And that's where I'm running into a bit of problems. It's just because I'm not familiar with video editing. So it's getting it to crop into that size is a bit more challenging than I originally expected, but it's not a big deal. I have a workaround, is that I can take a screenshot of it, freeze that, and then just use the picture the entire time. So I mean, I can do it. I just have to take the time to do it. So it will be happening this week for sure. For sure, Rocky. The youngest one here, do you mean, without discussing your actual age, do you mean youngest in terms of your actual age, or do you mean youngest in terms of most recent addition to our viewing family? Okay, how low is this? Oops, that's a lot of layers. Okay, well, it is what it is. Let's go for it. So I'm using stone as filler because I have the stone generator that you guys saw. But the top layer will be based off of, or will be the dirt and grass, as you saw, was very happily donated by, very generously, not happily, generously donated by James or Jackham. And I never pronounce that correctly, so that's why I often just call him James, because I know I can pronounce that. Ooh. Woo, 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 woo. Hold on, hold on. Give me a second here. I'm going to trash that note simply because we don't want to actually discuss our real ages in stream, especially if we're not talking in terms of decades, simply because you're old enough, Noah, to have an account on Discord, but it's still not a safe thing to be discussing our actual age online. Some of us old fogies can get away with it, but that's just because we're older. No worries, nothing to be sorry about. You're in a safe place, as in, like, we're not here to pick on you or anything like that, but I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that wasn't a safe thing to be doing. There are people that are not savory individuals and may actually take advantage of knowing that you're younger. And while you may be, most of the community here is definitely old enough to be parents, if not more. There are a few that are old enough to be grandparents. I think might even have one or two that are great-grands. But that doesn't mean that we're unwelcoming to anybody in the younger side of things. We just may not be as vigorous, high energy, and exciting. How's that? Yep. Exactly. Poodle's got it on the nose. I heard a ding. Ooh! Welcome back, Zerk. Hello! I forgot that resub has such a weird ding to it. So some of these resubs and stuff got a little bit borked because I have a mixed alert system at the moment. That's one of those need to figure out pieces. I'm really enjoying the Valheim alerts that I'm using, but the person who's hosting them didn't have a raid one involved and didn't have resubs, apparently. So, yeah, I need to try and figure out which is which. He was one of the first, and actually initially I was impolite and accused him of a pity sub, but quickly discovered that was not the case, so I'm spoiled. Very, very spoiled to have great people. By the way, just in case you're curious, no, I'm not here for the subs. What I do, and the reason I'm here, I'll just say the reason, is I would play Minecraft anyways, particularly while my kids are in school. That's how this whole thing for me started. But, so I figured, well, since I'd play it anyways, and I'm actually a scout leader, so we had done a lot of Zoom meetings during COVID break, and Fantastic Sherlock Fox suggested I give streaming a try once I started considering it. I kept trying to talk myself out of it, and he said, just go for it. So I did, and liked it, and we're here a year later. But, that's how that whole thing started, was that I was streaming while kids are in school. And then the evening slots I run were basically run while my kids were playing their own computer games. That was how that started. Of course, now that I'm streaming Murphy's Law, that's when they go, hey mom, do you want to play with us? It's like, great. I could cancel streams for that, but now that we've got a schedule that's been working out well, I just say not on the days that I'm doing evening streaming. Well, FSF certainly is amazing. That's part of why I married him. He's the king of multitasking. Definitely the king of multitasking. Yeah. But one of the things I think has helped him and a few other people, such as Springer Shadow and the odd new person who comes in, is that they're able to put up with the rather janky free captions, closed captions that I was able to find, because that seems to help some people who want to have my stream on in the background but can't actually be listening to the sound because they're, maybe in meetings or are. I had the occasional one who say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm busy modding for another stream, so I have to listen to them while I've got yours in the background. I'm like, sure, that's cool. But that's part of what the closed captions are for, because then it can open it up to more people. Why the face cam, though? That one was more because I'm used to it from the Zoom days. I did briefly play around with having a VTuber, and sometimes I do return to that. But when the VC Face software that I was using was being a real pill a while back, I just got out of using the VTuber thing and never really went back. Keep thinking I should, though, but I have about a year to play with that idea, because my son's made noises. He's not super excited, but he's made noises about wanting to at some point appear in my streams, and I figure, at least for the first few years, once he's 13, I probably would not let him actually go on the face cam. I would insist that he be a VTuber character. Just for everybody's, either VTuber character or no face at all, his choice. But I just don't want to allow him that lack of anonymity for his own safety. You know, parenting. One of those things. Queen of what? We're not really sure. You're the queen of pirates there, Poodle. And always will be. Actually, one of the other thoughts I had, if I can't get the ship to work and I end up having to go with a frozen frame, I might actually nick your profile photo from Discord, because it's a cool looking poodle pirate. Okay. New school year's kicking Poodle's backside. So I can work out the new schedule. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I guess on the other hand, you've got the power to affect said schedule. I was talking with my son the other day, and yeah, he's going to be getting on the bus probably about 7:15 in the morning, which is rough for him because his previous school that my daughter goes to starts just before 8. So getting on the bus at 7:15 is rough for him. He's not necessarily fully ready at that time. Hasn't hit the teenage unreadiness stage, but he's not fully independent yet. So that'll be an interesting one. But then he gets home an hour after she gets off of school. And since she has friends that at least last year were always getting picked up after school, so she had no one to walk home with, I suspect for at least a little while I'm going to see her being home ahead of him. So it'll be an interesting adjustment schedule-wise for us. Whereas you've got the perk that, as the instructor, you can control a little bit more of your schedule. Or it can flex a little bit. Although, I've been meaning to ask Poodle, do you have like a whole class full, or is it just the one student that you were mentioning? Ah, yeah. That's probably where I would start, Noah. In all honesty, that's probably where I would start. Is to, like, I wouldn't let my son stream by himself for a while. I mean, maybe, under supervision, as in, like, using my channel once in a blue moon, but that's way, way off. Initially, it would be purely guest starring or co-streaming in my existing stream. I wouldn't actually let him do his own thing for a while. Just purely to help make sure that he stayed safe and had an opportunity to taste things. But yeah, if anything, I mean, it would be being allowed to watch and allowed to comment, but not necessarily stream. Let's see. Poodle says that we have a co-op on Tuesdays, but his syllabus for some of those classes are for 5 days. We only have 4 days to work, so he has to double up on one day. Huh. Okay. So technically then he's got a 4-day school week. Cool. Yeah, our kids are both getting ones where they have partial days on Fridays, and then full days for the rest of the week. So that doesn't always work for people who have other things going on in their lives, but partial days work for him. It surprised me actually when he did that, because I don't really know what the school hours are, because I'm just knowing what the bus timings are at the moment. I had to know that for appointment reasons and stuff. And it surprised me to find out that he'd still be getting on the bus at 7:15 on a Friday, and yet he would be home, like as in getting dropped off, at about 12:15. So I'm not particularly sure how that's going to work, but hey, we'll just let it go, I guess, because if the school can get in the required number of days by doing that, more power to them. Oh, I see. 4 days of school at home, but 1 day of classes at co-op. Gotcha. Yeah, co-ops at the younger levels are something that we don't necessarily have a whole lot of up here. So, it's definitely something that I didn't have a clue on. Okay. Alright, we were getting there. We're 115 on... Oh, did I find another hole? Fantastic. Part of the point to covering this stuff up is actually the holes in the first place. Because I don't want surprise, you know, next thing we know, hey, great, your villagers are all turned into zombie villagers. You know, that's not on the menu. Certainly not on the menu. Or, surprise, you have a spider to say hello to you. It's like, no, no thanks. Also, I've seen witches. I don't know why we've got witches spawning around here quite frequently, but we do, so there's that. Where did I put the box? Okay, I'm gonna have to change the track on this song. Sorry, guys. There's nothing wrong with it, per se. Oh, it's just put over. Okay, never mind. The reason I didn't want to continue listening to that one is that it sounds a lot like the background music for another video game that I've played a good amount, but if you leave it sit on like an okay. If you leave it sit on an inactive screen, then you're gonna get the same sound over and over and over again. It just gets in your head. Let's see. Cyan dye, red dye, pumpkins, pumpkin seeds, brown dye, pufferfish. No thank you, sir. I don't think I need that, and just nobody else does either. Sorry, llamas. Goodbye. Alright, and you, sir. Oh, not bad. I got all the drops from all of them. Excellent. Okay. Just going to quick zoom, see if I left any... Oh, we're doing good. Replacing blocks. Has the creeper sound made you think there's a creeper behind you in-game? Yes, it has. You can jump scare me really effectively with that one. Yeah. Blue Pirate says, so mine has algebra at home, then from co-op, literature, American history, physical science, and Bible studies. Interesting. Let's see, what's this? There we go. I'm just moving my own chat upwards, just because it gets me looking more at the camera. Or more up-ish. Whatever that is. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Do the work from the co-op classes at home the other 4 days. Ah, I see. So sort of like a homework, in a way. Okay. There we go. Where was I putting... I guess I don't have a box out, which is kind of nice. Let's put it over here, then we'll move it later. The box with junk in it is this one. That, and that. These. Let's move. There we go. Alright, that's more room for blocks. I don't mind forgetting where the blocks go, or where the blocks and junk box got to, but I do have a problem leaving the ender chest behind. Okay, so we're at 117. That's actually not that bad. I could come up higher. Probably should come up higher. But it may not be necessary. We'll see here. 20, 19, 18... because the walls go up so high, I guess I should go the full 120. But we will take a break and go flatten out some other spots that are just a little bit shallower after I do this load. Sure, no problem. Sure, sounds like a great place to be. Welcome aboard. The Discord is generally fairly quiet, so we don't have a whole lot of conversation. The reason for that is not because I don't want to talk there, but so many of the members also know me from Dadcraft73's own Discord, and so sometimes the conversation happens there, and it takes effort for me to try and remember which Discord had what. There we go. So if there's ever something that comes up conversationally that just doesn't make sense, it seems like it's only half a conversation, feel free to check in and just say that doesn't make sense, because it's possible that one of our members started a conversation in one Discord and then completed it in another one. We have that happen on occasion where something will get discussed in stream here, and then we post pictures or whatever in Discord for this stream, and someone will comment about it in the other stream. Which is confusing as all get out. Pursuant to yesterday's conversations, though, I was talking with my kids this morning, and they are very happy to let me borrow the Rory Story Cubes, which means that special for Saturday will be a test run of actually being able to redeem points to get ourselves a story. So I've yet to decide if it's going to be a whole story, or if it's just going to be a cheap set of points to roll one cube and then add it to the ongoing story. So I need to figure out which one sounds better. And when I say points in this case, I mean as in redeeming your clues. So that's probably what we're going to do, something like that. We have 3 sets of story cubes, so up to 27 different dice to work with. And that's going to be one crazy long story. So that's it. I'm going to ask Fantastic Shock Fox if he's got time this week to print me a simple dice rolling tower that we've seen online before. So we'll have to, that's another conversation for him and I to have offline. I've got a couple ideas how I can do that for you guys. We've got a nice little display tray that we can use. And then I can always borrow the Lego cam to just keep showing the ongoing cubes we've used thus far as the story grows. So I think that that's going to happen on Saturday. And it actually, I was saying yesterday that my stream was going to be 3 hours, but it looks like we've got a late addition to the schedule on Saturday, so it means that I'm only going to be doing 2 hours on Saturday. So 2 hours for this stream weekend for a change. And that's not a problem. We get more faces in there than usual. And some of the ones that are late night are actually going to be able to be earlier than their usual slots, which means that you'll get to see a bit more of the Dadcraft73 crew. I don't know which server they'll be playing from, the new edition that is. And then, as usual, it'll be a bit chaotic on the handoffs because we very rarely have people playing from the same server back to back. That is one of the problems with a multi-server weekend, but we don't have enough people playing from either well, actually we do, but we don't usually manage to schedule enough people successfully from Dadcraft's Bedrock server or Dadcraft's Java server to be able to have an entire day for each one. The handoffs are fine, Poodle. You've been doing it just fine. It's a big mess when we don't actually all stream from the same server, so we can't hand off as neatly and tidily as, say, a Slackville or a truly Bedrock weekend, because they're all playing from the same server, right? So it makes it easy to meet up in one spot, hand off the server box, and just say hello and then disappear. It's a little bit more challenging when you've got multiple servers involved, and some people use a Discord overlay and some people don't, and it just gets a big mess. So it happens. Thanks so much, Noah. YouTube's a great place to find some of the old VODs. I don't actually tend to tidy them up for YouTube. I should at some point. I also haven't pulled off the starting screens and things like that. I just never bothered. It's more of a VOD storage right now because Twitch only lets you have, even as a Turbo member, Twitch only lets me have 60 days of storage. But for something I've talked about, more than 2 months ago, and then it rears its head again, it's nice to be able to go back and see what people were talking about. One of the things that actually, I know that we've got a good season going for the Java and the Bedrock servers, but for someone who's doing a double, like for example Dadcraft, could actually prearrange with the members on Modded that even if they don't want to stream or can't stream, maybe one of the features of a stream weekend might be a modded server base tour showcase. You know, that might be a good ending to one of the 2 days sort of thing. I know it doesn't work in this particular instance, but that's just a thought that we could work for later. So if not streaming from there, you know, spending at least a portion of a stream window touring the latest updates and changes, kind of like a big newscast about what's going on in the modded server, that might be an option as well. Another thought I'd had, we talked about off and on a little bit, is for people who want to start streaming but aren't necessarily comfortable with it, maybe someone figure out how to use the guest star feature that Twitch has. I don't understand it well enough yet, but something like that, and then have like a new streamer open mic night so that they don't have to worry about the technicalities behind things. Someone else takes care of that off their own channel, but the people get the practice being able to at least temporarily feature. That might be a way of having sort of an open mic night in a way. Open, semi-open mic night, I guess, because it would have to be the right community. You know, it would have to be Diecraft 73 players. Well, being as Twitter or X is the same thing, I don't think you really have to worry about deciding between the two of them. They're being really pokey about cleaning up their web addresses and such, and I used to have a go live notice on Twitter that was automatically posted for me by Stream Elements. Unfortunately, that feature no longer exists, or at least it hasn't worked for well over a month. So I suspect that it's our fine friend Mr. Musk getting himself involved again. And for that I do not thank him. But I'm thinking I might have to sort out my system a little bit more in the morning so that I can copy paste a go live notice into Twitter manually just before I hit go. Because as far as I know, there is not currently an automatic way to do that. Yay, Musk. Alright. But that was one of those things that I meant to look at while I was in Ireland and didn't. Also for the mods, I was working on a text file trying to explain what all my commands do. Exclamation point commands, because I've had a couple people point out that some of the commands are not super clear as to whether or not they're mod commands or whether anybody can do them. They're also not clear on what commands exist and what they actually do. So I was working on that file, but messed up and accidentally brought the wrong program on a USB stick, so I didn't have my bot with me to actually figure out what everything was doing. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of gray. It's not going to stay that way. We will add the top layer being dirt, but we're slowly making progress. Sure, yep. You can specify that for the end of the stream if you like, no problem. So just so you're aware, it's a Harry Potter themed Lego. We're working on the Slytherin house banner, and you'll get approximately 5 minutes of Lego. Sometimes frequently it's slightly more because I have a 5-minute timer that runs, but if I know that it's going to be for the end of the stream, then I can make sure that we save ourselves approximately 5 minutes to get that piece in. And once we, I think what I'm going to do once we finish this particular banner is take a brief break from the banners, even though I have the other two houses that we've not built already, because we've done the Gryffindor one. But before I get back to a third banner, I think what I'll probably do is take a break and we'll do a brickhead in between. So that will be an option as well. Probably, we'll see if we get the banner done before the weekend, or if there's still a little bit left to do, but when we finish the banner, I'm going to have a brickhead ready to go. I actually lost, and I feel really bad about it, but I've lost the footage that would have been the VOD for a complete end-to-end build of 12 Grimmauld Place. The reason for that never having gotten uploaded... Hey Benson, good to see you! The reason that never got uploaded was because there was a bit of footage where I was digging around for files on my computer, and unfortunately exposed my non-online name, and I wanted to make a couple changes to make sure that wasn't still exposed. It probably is still there in Twitch, so I haven't done anything with it, but the version I had on my computer for the intention of changing that personal detail exposure has gotten, I don't know what happened, it disappeared. I think it was because the drive it was on glitched during the backup process, and I knew that that was a risk. So yeah. But we did spend the time doing a big long build for an end-to-end of 12 Grimmauld Place, and I at some point will build another big Lego set, but I don't have any in storage right now. And also I like to have a break between the longer builds like that, because it gives you guys a chance to build up points if you wish to contribute to that sort of thing. No problem at all, Poodle. Lurk as long as you need. Sounds like you've got a busy, busy day. I'm assuming the how much do they, Benson, was probably from a different conversation you're having, and that's totally fine. The Discord that I see Benson in most frequently, or well, pardon me, let me correct that. The Discord I had seen Benson in most frequently is not one that I'm a part of anymore, just as part of cleaning up the ones that I wasn't participating in that much. There's a few that I watch a little bit, that I don't really participate in a whole lot, and they'll probably be going soon, just so that I can feel like I should keep up to things and not feel as much FOMO or fear of missing out. But I had it politely brought to my attention recently, or not politely brought to my attention, sorry, politely reminded recently that I have some ignorance that I was unaware of regarding some people's life choices, and some easy misunderstandings available, which just made it uncomfortable to hang out in certain Discords. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Where was I? I was talking about Ireland, right? I think, maybe? I was going to talk a little bit about Hook Lighthouse, but I think I'll save that for tonight, just because it's not a very long story, so I'd rather not burn it twice. Here. The Venomized Groot Lego set. Ooh. Is that relating to the third movie then? I'm quite curious about that. I haven't seen the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I, to be perfectly honest, had hoped that the movie series would be over after the second one. I'm not particularly sure I'm a huge fan of what they were doing with the Rocket backstory, the raccoon thing. But, yeah, I haven't watched the third one, but I'm not surprised that there's Lego on that. We missed out on getting Fantastic Sherlock Fox, the Stranger Things Lego sets. I had an opportunity for a brickhead from that at one point, and we didn't know enough about Stranger Things at the time, so the character didn't appeal to me, and I said, no thanks, can we swap it for something else? While I don't regret the swap in a big way, now that we know much more about the series, and Fantastic Sherlock Fox quite likes the Stranger Things series, I sort of wish I'd not done the swap, but just because it's harder to get hold of things now, and there aren't a lot of the sets. Cars. I'm not much of a vehicle person. Fantastic Sherlock Fox is far more than me, so it's all Greek to me, so to speak. But if you're referring to the movies cars, I'd quite like those, but that's, you know, animated stuff. Yeah, when it comes to actually driving cars and types of cars, I'm relatively clueless. Wouldn't say I'm quite one of those ladies who, you know, can't change a tire or can't fill her own windshield fluid or something like that. No, I'm better than that, but don't know a whole lot about cars otherwise. Yeah, Fantastic Sherlock Fox loves cars, I would say, definitely. Far more than me. He was like a road and track kind of reader back in the day. And the poor guy has gotten bit by me in cars for many, many years. First off was that we have 2 automatic vehicles, even though he and his mother, when they can, prefer standard. But I can't drive a standard. It was never taught that way. And now I don't want to ruin a friend's car to learn. And I just didn't really want to spend the money to learn. In Canada, we don't actually... it's harder and harder to buy a standard vehicle. Whereas in some other places, like when we were over in Ireland, there were standard vehicles basically everywhere. That was like a manual transmission vehicle, basically everywhere. That's definitely not the case over here. So it's been challenging in that respect. What did I miss? There we go. Now I can get a bit more. Pardon me. It actually, in the past... Ooh, Lego cars would be awesome. In terms of cars and kits, actually, we've got one of a Mitsubishi Lancer that was... I don't know if it's the OZ Rally version or not, but that Fantastic Shock Fox has in storage. It's just one of those, you know, plastic model kits. And someday I'd like to hope he'd be able to get that one built, just because I remember that car well when he owned it, and we were dating, and it was a great, fun runaround vehicle. But yeah, there's some pretty good Lego ones we've seen, and actually some of them, I've seen a few where the models actually look really, really good. They look a lot like the car, and then the upscaled versions are hilarious when you see them as museum pieces. I'm surprised you copped that Fantastic Shock Fox. It is a very amazing kit, the Lego Botanical Garden, but just not one I would have expected you to mention. The Lego's been doing some pretty good things. Actually, we were in a Lego shop in Dublin when we were on our vacation, and they had a lot of neat stuff. Like, definitely a lot of neat things. Where are we here? We're at 17? Okay, I don't want to bore you guys to death, but if we can get to 19 so that I can put a layer on of dirt for the top, that'd be ideal. Ah! After dark, that's not a welcome sound. Some of those sounds are actually from caves below. Okay, since I have a couple of beds, let's leave that one there for now. Okay, those two must be underground. Alright, so we're connecting up. Okay, great. And start to connect the dots. La 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 la. Lots of bouncing around. Let's get these levels built. This is actually, just so you guys are aware, this is actually the biggest hole in the whole thing. And it started out looking kind of like South America, and then it just grew. So we're not going to level out the whole thing this way. I'm actually going to use a bunch of the other stuff and cut it down. Ugh. I had to crack the neck because I legit wondered if that was real. You did get me, quite successfully. Okay, where are we here? Let's say yes to that one. Yes to this one. Go. Oh, missed something yesterday. Go. Go champion flying. Oops. Oh, well, that's going to be successful.
Hello.
Got it.
Hello.
Wow.
Hello.
Good morning, Raiders. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. Let's join the drop. So if anybody wants to get in on that anytime you like, it's !drop, and that will drop you with a parachute. For those of you that are curious about my comments earlier regarding commands,
Hello.
a good number of the publicly usable commands are listed in the a panel in the About section for those of you that are on PCs, for example. I do apologize for those of you on mobile. It's not as easy to see the list, but you're welcome to use any of those ones.
Hello?
We did see good stuff from Lady Gaga songs, so I'm just going to hit the geek out for a new one. So our target category at the moment is television, and I'm asking for 4 shows that take place in New York City. So let's see if we can crowdsource that, and between the bunch of us, come up with 4. I didn't watch a whole lot of television while I was in Ireland. They had the news on, and there was some historical show that I'm not sure what it was, but it was really kind of neat because they would have sort of a target year, and then they would play clips of music songs that were released or super popular during that year. And in the background, they would have little videos of some history event that had occurred or was related to Ireland that was from that year. So I got to see a lot of neat things I didn't know and learn a bunch of new stuff. So welcome in, Raiders, Tom and crew. If you are not inundated by ads, then when you get a second, please do tell me what you were up to today. I saw the Go Live come on, but I decided I had some unfortunate things to do around the house and did not get the opportunity to drop in and see what you guys were doing. Got left behind. When it comes to raids, getting left behind is the norm. Reminds me, I now have a question I have to remember to ask Huge Stormy Owl. I was watching Huge Stormy Owl stream last night, and her son Mr. Cheese was guesting with her, and they were doing some hardcore, but I was introduced to the idea of calling an unemployed villager a normie if he was not one of the special... Thank you very much for gifting a sub to Sashay Away, Scrub. I appreciate that very, very much. I'll get back to the question in a second. So let's pause briefly. Oops, let's look up first. Go. Something that's slightly more interesting. Let's pause briefly and make sure that we didn't miss any more of our hellos, because I think I saw everybody come in and then got distracted. Where are we here? Okay, so special good morning to everybody that came in. Hey there, Mama Bear. Good to see you. Hey, Sashay. I don't think I've seen you around for a while, and I appreciate it. Thank you for dropping by. Let's see what else we got. Multi-parking Mr. Fox. And what else have we got? Thank you for catching the shout-out, by the way. I appreciate that. And drop rate ended. Okay, so it looks like I caught everybody. Other than failing with Oswin, but that's normal. Okay, so we had a Champion of the Hill, and the winner was Sashay Away. Welcome, first-time chat, and the winner of being Champion of the Hill. That's pretty cool. Doubleheader. So Tom was doing a Motley variation to the Overworld train line on Bedrock. Ooh. A Motley variation. That's a different one. Yeah. So Poodle Pirate was commenting on last night's stream. So Huge Stormy Owl's son was referring to unemployed villagers of the more standard outfit style to be normies. So they were unemployed normies. But if they managed to get the biome-specific outfit, then they weren't normies. And we were trying to figure out what they would be called. So I was joking that they were abnormies. But I mean, what happens if you get different ones? Newbie's luck. Sure! If it's a donut, just about anybody will kowtow to a donut. Foxy? Nice. So enjoy your meal. Enjoy your meal, Noah, and hopefully it's tasty. And we'll catch you a bit later. You hacksaw the Gibson. You know, one of these days we need a Gibson around the house, just cuz. I wouldn't be able to play it to do it justice, but it would be... You can't hacksaw a Gibson if you don't have one. Or at least it's hard to. I'm wondering whose Gibson it was and all that kind of stuff. Ah, I see. Okay. Honestly, Tom, I was vaguely wondering if there was a theme from the band of the same name. So that's what I was looking at. I'm going, Initially, I thought he was calling the nitwits normies. Yeah, exactly. But apparently, they were just the unemployed villagers, or the normies, because he was commenting that some of the new villagers being bred were normies, and some of them weren't. There's a lot of confusion in our communities with crosstalk and fun, goofy names for things. So it's fun to play with that. I have quite a number of unemployed, absolutely normal villagers in the monastery. About half of them are like that. Because, pardon me, after James and Poodle and crew, everybody in chat, helped me figure out why on earth my villagers kept disappearing, it was actually mine / their own fault. I don't know why that Minecraft has them pathing over ledges, but apparently it decided that was a good idea. So of course what they would do is path themselves off a ledge enough times that they'd take damage and kick the bucket. Alright. Yeah, that was what was happening. Is they were pathing over top of a ledge, coming down from the room of beds, over to where their workstations were. And so I got down to 2 out of more than 20 before it actually clued in, and I blocked up the area that was the problem. Issue sorted, so of course they bred like rabbits, which is great, but only half of them have jobs now. So I picked up a lot of the workstations and was in the process of trying to get more books sorted out, but that just takes a long time because I prefer free-range villagers if I can. It makes it a bigger pain in the neck to try and find the correct villager when you want something. The plan had been at some point to have all of the librarians locked in with whatever their book is, and then just have a chest underneath their workstation or a barrel, pardon me, underneath their workstation that has a few of the books from that particular villager in the workstation, so that you can either hang around and buy it from the villager directly, or you can just grab the one from the chest. Like, that was the plan. As you can tell, that one got sort of derailed. A lot of it becomes repetitive off-camera work. Kind of like this block laying should have been. Okay, where are we? Okay, that is a fill-in spot. Rather than starting this, I'll finish what I was up to over here. Oh right, yes, it's spilling larger. Okay, how far do we go? Over there, and I had a bed, right? I left it somewhere? Let's just sleep away the day before we end up in trouble. There we go. I know I left the yellow bed somewhere. So yesterday I was talking a little bit about QR codes and stuff, which confused the poor DC when he was hanging around. And part of it was that I got the name of the city wrong, initially. But in Ireland, there's a city called Waterford where they've blanketed a lot of the historical zone and the city centre with Wi-Fi, so that visitors can just scan a QR code and get more in-depth information than just a little plaque posted on the wall. I think that is a great idea on the part of the city council. That is a different one. Sorry. So, when we were in Ireland, we didn't end up taking enough time for the full city tour of Waterford. I probably would, but that's just because, as an adult, I like that kind of thing. But we did manage to make it around to different walls in the city, and you can actually read little QR codes on the towers. So it tells you a little bit about history, which was a blast. There was one where there was a monument to a World War I guy, and you got to hear a little bit of a documentary blurb about him if you scanned the code, which was kind of neat. What else have we got? There was a VR game with cannons for one tower. What else? There was street art that was going on, so you could read about the artists, and that was special for... Where did he come from? Oh well, that was special for 2023 was the street art, so it's just a neat concept to have the city blanketed like that, and I think it's a smart move because they could update things fairly easily and relatively inexpensively, because I mean the size of a QR code, you want a sign big enough that it attracts attention, but what's on there doesn't necessarily have to be super duper in depth, and if it's about something modern, then it makes it easy to just put a little bit of a blurb down and then keep updating the information on the website. That's an easier thing to handle. So that was quite a lot of fun. I would certainly go back. And people say, did you get to see this or that or whatever? And we did get to see, I think it's Christchurch Cathedral from the outside. Apparently there's tours and stuff you can do inside, so I would go back and do that again. But by that point, the kids are starting to get a little burnt out and wanting a bit of a break. Meetings. No problem, PP Zerk. Thank you ever so much for coming by. I always feel spoiled to have my good friends in attendance when they can. And all of the Zerks are good friends. They love to razz you, and they're fantastic trolls, but particularly ZZ Zerk. But it's fun to razz people as well, you know. And I'm starting to learn to be able to take it as good as I give. Well, actually, take it better than I give, because I'm not very good at giving it back. But these guys are excellent helpers and excellent teachers. So yeah, I love my vacation. I didn't want it to end, but I did need a break. As I mentioned in Discord, we were gone for just over 2 weeks. So I was going to say 2.5, but it doesn't feel like it when it goes over a weekend. But I'd say that that's just about the right length, because you've got a day or two to settle in, and then a good solid 2 weeks to do stuff, and then you're sort of winding up to leave during the crazy busy weekend when when a lot of those tourist sites are busy. More so with the locals on the weekends, and I mean like the Irish, because if they're not working, then they've got a bit more opportunity to drive around and visit things. Though the tourist stuff isn't, or the history stuff was more filled with foreigners than the locals, but just in general the places are more crowded. Ooh, fish and chips. Yum. So what kind of fish do you have with that? I don't know, it's battered. But haddock, cod, there's plenty of other types, but those are the ones I could think of at the moment. We did fish and chips at one little place. It was supposed to be the best fish and chips in Ireland as a takeaway, and it was yummy. No doubt about it. But I think I overate, so to me it became fish and chips. Just, it is. They do a good job of it, so definitely it was not bad at all. Where are we? Are we level? Are we level-ish? I could keep going. One more, but I don't really know if I should. 17. Where are we? Let's peel down some more layers, try and get closer all around, because I think that might be a better plan than going up at the moment. Alright. Besides, I'll find the bed while we're at it. Right? And figure out where some more of the little itty-bitty caves are. Apparently I'm good at that too. Yum. Yeah, cod and chips make a good one. My kids were actually quite surprised by the brown, the brown malt vinegar. I mean, we have, salt and vinegar, or salt and malt vinegar chips, or pardon me, crisps in Canada. but chips, crisp, whatever. But they weren't used to seeing malt vinegar on the table. And so we've done that at home a few times, but they're just not really aware of it in a bigger way. Whereas, I mean, that's sort of the only way to go. They think you're odd a little bit if you use white vinegar overseas. So that was kind of a nice eye-opener for them. And yet, food. I have a silly question, Scrublord, for you specifically. I know that people have been mucking around with your name and teasing a little bit by changing it to Shrublord, which is semi-appropriate for your current line of employment. But was the scrub related to your previous line of employment? Or is that... because it didn't sound like it fit too well to be the negative connotation of calling somebody a scrub, but maybe that was intentional, I'm not really sure. It was neat to see our kids eating fish and chips, and we asked them to try and stretch their horizons a little bit and try something new or different that they wouldn't necessarily get at home in Canada. Thankfully, they have been to pubs in Canada. They're not the same as Irish pubs, but it did mean that when we went out to lunch, we could go to a pub for lunch food and be generally expected to find something on the menu the kids could eat. But I was actually pleasantly surprised at just how many of them over there have kids' menus at the pub. It's not something that we often see in Canada. But I mean, our fantastic Sherlock Fox and I are also lucky that our kids tend to like chicken wings, so that makes life pretty easy. The stream cut out right when I said I had a question. Oh, okay. Let me know when you're ready. Sure, we can do that if you've got 5 minutes. So, let me just quickly... where am I here? No, this is fine. This will do. That pause due to scroll. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you redeem, I set up, and off we go. Let's see. So I'm just going to get that Lego screen set up. Give me one quick second to be right back. All right. Go. Just want to make sure I'm not dead while I do that. Okay, so that's the screen. Oops. Keyboard's in the way. There's the rest. All right. We've got a little bit of an overhead glare from the lights, so please be a little bit patient with that because I didn't have an Elgato light the last time I did this. But we are working on the Slytherin house banner. And I've got a hair in here, sorry about that. It's gonna bug me. There we go. Okay. So what we've got so far, oops, is we've got the front side and it opens up like this. And then let's take a quick look at Lego. Interact with, no, I need to interact with that. And where did I put my booklet? I'm trying to match where we left off. 77, okay, which is page 71. There we go. All right, I'm going to present that and put it in the middle for me so I can see what's going on. Perfect. Okay, so where we've got off the top is, we just got this little piece up here, and I need to find a couple of gray windows. There's one. And two. No problem. I was just bugging him about scrub versus shrub, and to see whether or not it was related to his employment. I can always ask him later or in Discord. It's not a big deal. I know where some of them came from, but I don't know if that's his doing or if it was picking up the name from something someone else said. Okay, so let's start the timer on this one. We're gonna go with that. And let's change this one. Okay, so we've got two little windows that need to just sit alongside. 1 and 2. There we go. And then what have we got? Length of 4. Plus a hinge. Oops, sits over by 1. Looks like I missed something in there. I'm gonna roll back a little bit. 77, 76. Oh, huh. Yep, I got most of this back part and I missed a little flat square with... Oh, I got that. Oh, I know what I missed. Nope, wrong one. There we go. One of the singles. Top. That fits better. Okay, so now we've got this 4x piece that was going on. Wrong way. 75, 6, 77, 78. Okay. That piece. And then we were taking the hinge and closing off that section. For Geek Out, their question is becoming 4 actors who have played a monk or priest. And I get that we are on top of the Lego screen, but it's only temporary, so I'm not going to worry about moving it this time. 79. Yay! So we have our dartboard and 2 tiny squares. 1 and 2 plus 2 odd-shaped curves. 1 and 2, and then we just get those installed. Definitely Derek Jacobi for that, because he's the one who played Cadfile, the character that I'm basing my Shrewsbury base on this season. We've got... Who else did we get here? Mark Williams, I think I'll pull that one, because he did Father Brown for the British television version. Okay, can this sit right up to the hinge? Okay, 1, 2. How am I going to get that to stick? These? There we go. Alright. And... Oops, 80... Green section. Right through here. Alright, what else we got? Nope, not long and flat. We need... We're doing a new section at the top. Got the square. And the strip. Okay, then 2 L-shaped pieces. There and here. And a sandwich. And then we do 2 wedges. Pull them out. Sorry for the weird hair. Or not hair, arm. I'm so used to leaning over and having my head hair in it. That's what I said, but it wasn't what I meant. 85. Oh, cool piece. Okay. So this is the hanger part. So the hangers will help allow me to actually like 3M hooks on the back so that I can have things hanging from the wall. I guess this is where I can take advantage of the light. That's actually a black piece. Okay, and then 2 funny little hook bits. This one. I need some green squares. This is where we've got Fantastic Sherlock Box involved with the system. We've got 3D printing involved. So we've got a bunch of little trays of various different sizes, which make it a lot easier to pull the parts. On the back here, got green. Oh, whoops. Should have done the white first. Green, white. Slytherin's not my house, so I'm not going to be too fussy about how these go on, just because I'd be here all day if I was. That one, and then another green, sorry, gray. That looks like the correct piece. And these will sit on top of the wedges. Get us this shield shape down the center. Okay, so now we've got that. We need, what are we looking for? 2 tiny squares. Yeah, I know, timer's gone. That's okay. I have a few more seconds because I did not spend it correctly. Okay, so I'm not going to go on forever because I know that Noah had to get moving. And this piece, followed by that bit. Alright, so that's where we're going to leave off for today. And I'll mark that we finished off with the end of 86. And let's get back to the game. I saw your comment, Fantastic Sherlock Fox, about trying to think of other monks and priests. Have a nice rest of your day, Noah. Thank you very much for dropping by and for your redeem, and hope to see you again soon. So I saw your comment about trying to think about other priests and things. Like, part of it is I don't know the actors who did shows such as, say, Father Ted, or what's his name? Father Mulcahy from MASH. I just can't seem to think of the correct people for that. Let's tear down, what's this? 121? That's enough. I don't have to have it perfectly flat because we just need a reasonable spot to be able to build something. But I also have to keep an eye for how small these layers are. Just so I can actually make something productive out of them. There will probably be more terraforming to blend these blobs into other places. That's part of why I'm tearing them down a little bit. Now, being as that particular Geek Out started while we were doing the Lego, then even though it didn't come out to be... What am I doing? Oh. Even though it didn't come out that we actually made the target, that's what I'm trying to say, then we can probably still go for a fresh one because it's been more than 5 minutes. So I'm just going to roll that number. 2, okay, literature, 2 titles in which a dystopian society appears. Fox, you've got this. All yours. Alright, so this bit's not bad, height-wise. I covered the gray with 1 layer of dirt, so let's take some more down off this side. A little closer. And as far as terraforming goes towards the end, I do have a lot of stuff that I can use for bone meal. So bone mealing things to get them closer to looking nice again will definitely happen. Yeah, you're kind of geek out. Exactly! Dystopian is all yours. You know, it's kind of funny. we always seem to have dystopian futures, but I don't, it's either dystopian futures or dystopian more or less other worlds. There you go. 2 titles for Dystopian Society. Done and done. As a mod, you have the ability to roll a geek out ahead of the 5-minute timer. We often see dystopian futures, or sometimes dystopian now type books if people are doing an exploratory what if. Say, for example, would it have been dystopian, or what would a dystopian take look like if the Nazi Third Reich had actually won World War II? You know, those sorts of questions. We don't often see, I don't think I've seen yet anything that could be remotely considered as a dystopian take on history in a deeper what-if sense. So it's just something that I've kind of wondered about. Okay, 120 flat. 120 is our goal height for most of this area, but I do want to have a little bit of up and down, just not anywhere near as bad as it had been with this great big hole in the ground. So we're at 123, but if I make it all dead flat, it's really kind of boring. So 121 or 122 might not be bad, but it does mean that there's a bit of up and downness to do. I might even leave it at 123 depending on how it can blend the other zones in. What do we got now? Okay. As you can probably tell from Fantastic Shog Fox's responses, if you take a look at his Kindle list or our bookshelf, you'll find quite a number of dystopian works. And actually, one of the things I was thinking future-wise, I would not be surprised if one wanted to qualify some of the worlds that you see in series such as Star Wars to be a little bit on the dystopian side, particularly when you've got the quote-unquote the dark side in charge. Some worlds more than others, but then that would be sort of a sci-fi fantasy dystopia all rolled in one, depending on how generally you want to define dystopia. Okay, that one looks good. That's not bad, actually. 123. If I bring this bottom up to 120 and then blend in down into that from above, that actually might not be too bad. 124 is probably a bit high, but this zone back here definitely is too high. I know the walls are really high, but I'm not going to redo them. That's just silly. We've got enough work to do with those left. One of the reasons I don't have my beacon out here for all of this is, we've talked about before, I overmine, or I dig into things too quickly, too easily. However, we're only efficiency 3 on this one, so I could probably handle bringing the beacon out. It's interesting to note the big differences between efficiency 3 on a grass block versus efficiency 3 on a dirt block. So we've got, I can count 1, 2, 3, you know, whereas that speed is way easier on the dirt blocks. When it comes to mining straight out dirt, or gravel, it's way too easy for me to overmine, over dig. But then when we've got grass and such involved, it's kind of like, come on guys, I wish we could do better. And I like the reality in that, because if you think about it, if you were trying to dig through your yard and you had nothing but dirt, of course you could dig it pretty quickly. If you have to dig through the roots of the grass sod over top, not as easy at all. Which reminds me, Lucy, one of the things we talked about saw in Ireland is the roadsides. When when you see people's hedges, trees along the roadside, the vast majority of the time, they're trimmed fairly vertically. The older the hedges are, the more vertical the whole thing is, because someone will either pay, I don't know if they have much for landscaping companies, but they'll pay like a farmer to come by the highway and trim back the bushes and the trees. And so they'll come by with their saw attached to their tractor, which is pretty cool. But there are certain ones, there are certain species, and I can't even remember which one it is. Fantastic Shock Fox might have to help me. But there's a certain species where, for luck reasons or some sort of other, I don't really want to call it a superstition because that sounds judgy, but for some sort of belief reason, there's one type of tree that they won't cut. They'll actually actively try and avoid it. And the resulting effect of that is in some spots you'll see beautiful overhanging tall trees that have started creating parts of a tunnel because of this lack of trim. And that's kind of an interesting thing to see. I have a couple boxes. So Poodle says, if y'all get more dirt than you can use, I will take it, just put it in my mailbox. Projects. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense the way I just posted it. But basically, sounds like Poodle is doing something that could use a good amount of dirt. Either that or we'll just store. I'm not sure which. But in either case, sounds like there's another repository for dirt. And if I'm doing enough peeling down, I might have enough of my own. But if I'm... because I can do the backfill in stone. But if I'm just covering it all in dirt and doing backfill in dirt, then I'm short. So stone is an auto-generator, easy, no problem. Whereas the dirt is non-renewable. There's an awful lot of it, but it's still non-renewable. Now somebody will probably come along and tell me otherwise, as in you can get yourself a dirt farm based off of like clay and, I don't know, mud and so on and so forth. But it's got to come around somewhere. I'll send it away after stream and you later if I need some. Which I can spell this out. So yeah, where was I going with that? I can't remember. Wasn't important. Not important. It's funny. In some respects, occasionally I seriously think that I'd be the kind of candidate who's perfect for a super flat world. But it's not that. I just like really flat places in not so flat spots. So this flattening out business is something I do an awful lot of. Okay, so we're at 126, and that's going to be 120, so we have a lot to sort out from these walls. Which I'm going to try and do a test patch after, or between streams, so that we can figure out where we're at, but it'll probably end up looking pretty janky when we come down. I'm just going to because we have a wall on the top there, I think I can use that as an excuse to artificially step down on the inside, so that it doesn't matter if it's only 1 block or 2 blocks wide on the inside. I think one of the terraces will probably be 3, just so we can get a road in there. But most of it'll be 1 or 2 blocks wide. Alright. Yeah, right now it looks like I'm going to have a lot of dirt to work with. As I said, if I do the underneath backfills with stone, then easily could cough up some dirt for people. So, allows me to be the good neighbor for a change. Oops. Oh, I know what I was talking about. I was saying that it's non-renewable. That's what it was. Okay. So we've got about 15 minutes to go, for those of you that are watching the clock. And if you guys have favorites that you would like to recommend I take a look at as of the top of the hour, please do let me know. One of the things that I wish Twitch had, but they don't, is they have a live now list, which is great. And they have little pop-ups when people go live, which is great, except I don't let those interrupt while I'm streaming. But their ability to show you who's coming up and pre-schedule things are not exactly easy. Or let me say, they're not Delenn grade 88 proof. How's that? It's more accurate. What do we got? How wide do I want to go? So if I was to go 9, let's try. I'll let that ledge be there. I've already gone up. Okay, so 3. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing here, but it'll figure itself out eventually, right? One of the things I'm still bouncing around in the back of my brain is I want to start making sure I take a walk between streams most days, even though I have things on the go. Like, it's really tempting today to just keep on digging and keep on shopping between the streams. But I found that rather than, even though we went for walks on a regular basis, rather than losing weight while I was in Ireland, I went up, which is kind of depressing. So, yeah, whether it be inside or outside, I still want to go for a walk between streams, but it's really tempting to do otherwise. Okay, where am I here? Eat quickly before the donkeys follow me too badly. There we go. 100 degrees. Woof. Yeah. On the other hand, I mean, I don't think Poodle would be too impressed with our winter temperatures getting 20 below and worse. One, two, three. That was reasonable enough there. Now, the reason I'm leaving rows of 3 is so that we can actually put in a road. 1, 2, 3. Oops. Coal, yay! Yeah, I can. So that's a big issue right there. If we were to do anything different, the Poodle's world would be that she wouldn't handle the cold we've got. So she can keep the heat. Even though it keeps her indoors a little bit, she can keep the heat. We'll keep the cold. How's that? Good trade? And those of you that are getting the wet, you can keep that too. Sounds about right. Yep. I do have a smile, though. I mean, a few of you were aware that I was, on that same sort of note, I was kind of teasing Carnage Joe because she was complaining in the winter that it was oh so cold and she had to put on the electric blanket, and that she, was got 3 settings or whatever it was. And so I said, so how cold did it actually get in your house? And she goes, well, it got all the way down to plus 16 Celsius, which, if I do a conversion on that, convert 16 Celsius. So it got to about 60 degrees in her house. And that was far too cold, which it is. But for me, that's, put on a sweater. But flipping the other direction, there's summer heat and I start whining and complaining a little bit a lot of it, when we get temperatures in Canada that, in my area, end up at what's roughly 80 Fahrenheit. It's like, no, nope, too hot for me. You know, so it's all really a matter of what you're used to and where you come from, right? I think I just picked up flowers again. There's seeds again. No flowers or seeds, please, thank you. Fine. Alright, yeah, I wish we had wet weather. We haven't had rain in over a month, Sachet always says. Oh, when I turn on the space heater in my office when it's 65. Exactly. Exactly. My parents used to keep their house at 66 Fahrenheit and drove me nuts. Because for me, that's just too cold. But, you know, I got used to the idea, as silly as it sounds, that, well, that's an old people temperature, right? Because it's my parents. But it's not really. It's just, it's an economic thing. If they weren't feeling too cold and didn't mind putting on a sweater, then why not save a penny or two on the heating? But to me, it was just, they always get the house so cold. And then I heard recently that they got air conditioning installed, and I was like, really? Where did that savings go? Alright. I will ditch that for the gold, or for the iron any day. Yeah, exactly. I mean, my father-in-law just, in Ireland actually, just got solar panels installed when we were there. 1, 2, 3. I think. Nope, I'll leave that one up. So he just got the solar panels installed, and hopefully it will help pay back some power, because they're not always there, right? So at times when they're in their house in France, then hopefully it will be paying back into the power grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. There we go. Now we can get 3. Count back. 1, 2, 3. So hopefully it will pay for them. I'd like to see that, not just for their sake, but anybody who can make a buck off their power, or well, penny here and there, means that the overall payment, you know, you can pay off your solar panels in like 5 to 6 years rather than like 10. So we'll have to see how that goes. All right. 1, 2, 3. Can't count. That's fine. Oops. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I need that to blend in here. There we go. Alright. I think Fantastic Shot Fox says, I think my office aims for around 20 degrees Celsius, otherwise I want a sweater. The office in your... Fantastic Sherlock Fox works from home, so he must be feeling pretty warm, because his office certainly would not be 20 degrees most of the time. Particularly since he's got a 3D printer in there. Now, while it's not always running, when it does run, it puts off a good amount of heat. You can see in the mini-map in the corner, I've got a lot of pink entities in there. And so it's one of those things where it shouldn't cause any lag, but I don't want to be despawn monster either. So if I could figure out where I left my boxes, then I can probably get myself a shulker. And get it all filled up with stuff. Let's see, which one already had some dirt in it? This one? Okay, I can put those away. Sure, why not? These ones are safe to use. Close enough. Close enough. Stone, stone, stone. Rocks, but extras. Oh, more junk. Okay. Two. Where did I put this one? There we go. Stuff. All right. Back I go. Yay! Oops, can't fly with the shovel. Alright, sorry for that. That's just getting a little bit scratchy throat, and I realize I'm starting to stop talking, and that's no good either. Got it just right, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. Perfect. Alright, where are we? Oh. Ooh. Just seeing a few people live at the moment that might be worth popping into. I think today might be a Jade day if she hasn't gotten too close to the ending time she usually prefers. Pardon me. 1, 2, 3. Oh, actually, I left myself a mess over here and I didn't clean it up. Distract a monkey. There we go. Like a Hoover. That's a story for this afternoon, just because we're close to the top of the hour, but one of the stories for later today will probably be something to do with the arrival of our new vacuum buddy. We have a brand new Roborock robot vacuum that we just got delivered yesterday, and so I'll be curious to see how that works out for us. This is 124 down here. Really? Wow. Okay. There'll be a little bit of blending to go. That's okay. That will probably come over time, she says. I think I can attack with a shovel. How's that? Okay, we're looking at the top of the hour. But yeah, I think today will be probably a Jade day, so let me double check and see how long she's been up. Rub it in, Fox! I did not think our older Roomba would do well in the basement. I honestly thought there were too many things it would get stuck on. But Fantastic Sherlock Fox was fairly certain that it was going to work. Whereas my other suggestion for location had been the upstairs floor where our kids are, near the bedrooms and stuff, because there's more carpet, and therefore it could probably use a vacuum more frequently. Well, I shouldn't say more carpet. It has as much carpet as the basement. But he rightly pointed out that frequently there's far too many things out there that the kids leave all around, so we'd be forever having to have people picking up and nagging at them for picking up their stuff just so that the vacuum could go, or it would actually get stuck on things because it's an older model. There's a few sets of steps and things where we'd have to put up the little digital walls, which is just a tower with a signal to tell it not to go there, and that's just a whole lot of hassle. So we didn't. But if it's working out fine in the basement, we'll just leave it, because why not? Why not? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oops. There we go. Keep forgetting this is going to have to come down further anyways, just because it's not brass. Yeah, so I'm that twit who gets makes suggestions and thinks she's right, and then needs to be shown otherwise. But that's okay, because, you know, live and learn, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. No, I think. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. That looks better. 2. Only 2 there on purpose because of the way the step down works. Okay, we're good. We're good. Alright, so we have reached the top of the hour. We can see there's a whole heap more terraforming to do, but we've gotten far enough that we're slowly inching our way towards being ready for the projects that I'm saving for Saturday. And hopefully we'll have a bit more progress this evening so we can actually make it look like something. So I'm aiming for the 120 that you see the sheep barn built on and a bunch of the red blocks. So we're going to go for that. A little bit further down isn't a big deal, but I want to level out some of that. So maybe instead of doing the gray zone for a while, we'll head north and do something else up there. But in the meantime, thank you everybody for coming by, and Milord Scrub showed up just in time for me to pass everybody over to start heading towards one of our fine friends. And I said I was going to figure out who, and I worked that effect. Let's take a quick look here and see how long some of them have been up. Stop. Okay. Now she's been up for about an hour, so we've got Marble Jade finishing what we started yesterday on Truly Bedrock. So maybe we should go over and figure out what it was they started yesterday. That's our best bet, so we're going to start the raid on over there. Thank you everybody for coming by, and I will be saying my specific thank yous in just one moment. See if we can get Mischief managed.
Mischief managed.
Shazam! Alright. So thank you very much to Scrublord for gifting a sub today to Sashay Away. Also thank you very much, Zerk, for the resub. I appreciate it very much. Thanks, Tom, for bringing your crew over. Always great to have you and your friends here. Thanks, Sashay Away, for the new follow. And thanks to Noah for spending clues today. Our moderators this time round were Sherlock Fox, Zerk, PP Zerk, Benson, and Scrublord. Wow, quite a bundle. And then today's VIP, double-headed VIP, is apparently ITT Tom. Thank you so much. That was for his raid and bringing his crew. Also, thank you very much to subscribers Poodle Pirate, James, Curry, Owl Poppins, and Sashay Away. I guess it didn't clear properly. That's okay. And other chatters included Complete Noah, and Mama Bear 65, and Henry Ford. So, I think we missed a few. I'm pretty sure I said hello to at least one other. But in any case, give Jade our best, and we will see you on the other side. Bye-bye for now.